Hi to everyone. Today we are going to deal with the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. The poet is Stephen Spencer, who was an English poet and an essayist. He declared himself to be a socialist and a pacifist. Poems of dedication, the edge of being the creative element, the struggle of the modern, and an autobiography, the world within world. An elementary school classroom, he has concentrated on the themes of social injustice and class inequalities. He is one of the friends of Jean Paul Sartre, the famous philosopher. He is considered to have had connections with the origin group of poets in which Jean Paul Sartre, W.H. Auden, and T.S. Eliot were members. The same way he also had affiliations to Bloomsbury group in which Virginia Woolf belonged to. They all had a sort of existentialist point of view towards education. In the existentialism in education, we mean that they focus on the individual, seeking out a personal understanding of the world. Thus, each individual characterizes for himself or herself the concepts of reality. And they also focus on truth, goodness, and as a result, the school exists to help the children in knowing themselves and their place in the society, rather than depending on the marks or other things as we usually do. Let us look into it. Far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with a weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disses, his lesson from his desk, the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. As I live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Bell, flowery Tyrolese valley, open-ended map awarding the world its world. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, were all their futures painted with fog. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky or a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and star of words. Surely Shakespeare's wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. On this slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass, like bottle bits on the stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break open till they break the town and show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into the books. The white and green leaves open history, theirs whose language is the sun. Now let us look into detail through the stanza. It's a very interesting poem because mostly we deal with things which are imaginative, but here we are trying to deal with things in which which are a part of a reality. Let us quote Ruskin Bond. Maybe you'll be able to understand in detail the poem then. To live in harmony with nature, we must become good listeners. We want to say if we appreciate bird song, whistling, breezing, swishing of the leaves, their absence and the presence would make a difference. But since we don't, the natural habitation is being destroyed. As a result, what we hear is all sorts of traffic noise. Now let us concentrate on our poem. Far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor is extreme paleness or lack of healthy color of the skin, bloodless skin. Far, far, the repetition of the word shows that it's very far from the gusty waves, the strong waves. Have you ever noticed in which direction the people move? Usually we have a tendency to move along the wind, and that to the strong wind. So the world moves in the direction of strong winds and the waves. People who are strong and powerful. But the children are plants who do not have value. That is weeds which are growing where they are not desired to be grown, or it is undesirable in a particular situation, in a state of having no roots to. So they are totally in a messy state or unwanted state. After that, there's a tall girl. Her head is way down. That itself shows that she is not healthy. The paper seeming boy, the boy looks like a paper, is as lean as a paper. Along with it, let me clarify this point. Lean is usually used for showing boy, and slim is associated with girls. But here, paper seeming boy, it becomes thin boy. A thin boy, a boy who's having a disease probably, and that's why. And he's having rat's eyes also. I don't know whether you have noticed how rats really move. Rats move their eyes so quickly in search of things. So one sort of greedy eyes, or the boy is really hungry. And also he is continuing there. The stunted unlucky hair of twisted bones. The boy is having disease also. He is an unlucky hair. He has not inherited from his parents or father money. He has inherited twisted bones. And he is reciting a father's gnarled disease. A disease which is really gnawing him. Or he is reciting a lesson from his desk. He is using pun in this part of the poem. At the back of the dim class, the classroom is not ventilated properly, it is dim. One unnoted, nobody is noticing that boy, sweet and young boy. And this sweet and young boy, he also is not attentive in the class because his eyes live in a dream. In the dream, he is dreaming of squirrel's game. The squirrel is having its game in a tree room. It's not a tree house, noted the usage, it is a tree room. They cannot really imagine houses because they have never lived in a house, they live in a room. Other than the classroom, he is imagining about that. Let us look at the classroom and the infrastructure over there. On the sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's head. Cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Bellflowery Tyrolese Valley, open-handed map awarding the world its world. And yet for those children, this window is not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. Let us discuss this in detail. There are certain words like sour cream walls, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, bellflowery, open-handed map, awarding world its world, futures painted fog, and Tyrolese Valley. I'll one by one explain these words and then I'll explain the paragraph. You can visit the next video for a detailed explanation of the various stanzas. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.